Fraud can either be a civil or a criminal case, or both, irrespective if a country has a civil law system or a common law system. Each system favors a particular fact-finding method, adversarial or inquisitorial. However, the judiciary can use both forms simultaneously. A civil case is not synonymous with a civil law system. In law, fraud is intentional deception to secure unfair or unlawful gain or deprive a victim of a legal right. Fraud can violate civil law, a criminal law, or cause no loss of money, property, or legal right, but still be an element of another civil or criminal wrong. The purpose of fraud may be monetary gain or other benefits, such as obtaining a passport, travel document, or driver's license, or mortgage fraud, where the perpetrator may attempt to qualify for a mortgage through false statements. Many equate it with theft, but there is a distinction. The fundamental difference between these two is that theft involves taking something through force or stealth, where fraud revolves around a purposeful misrepresentation of fact. Criminal fraud and civil fraud are also different, and their difference lies in who is pursuing legal action. Thus, a single act of fraud is prosecutable as criminal fraud by prosecutors and a civil action by the victim of the misrepresentation. Whether criminal or civil, fraud has several legal elements, including knowledge by the accused it was misrepresenting a material fact. The accused has misrepresented the fact in purpose, intending to deceive the victim. The victim believed the misrepresentation, relied on, and, among others, suffered damages. Beyond who is pursuing the case, the most significant difference between a civil fraud case and a criminal case is that the former's actual damage needs to have occurred. Thus, when someone accuses a person of criminal fraud, they bring it for case prosecution and prove the intent to commit and gain from the misrepresentation. They can pursue a case even if the fraud was unsuccessful and harmed nobody. Common examples of criminal fraud include mail fraud, wire fraud, racketeering, securities fraud, identity theft, tax evasion, bankruptcy fraud, embezzlement, bank fraud, and counterfeiting. They can separately or simultaneously also bring a civil fraud case to court, but it must prove that the accused materially misrepresented the fact. The accused knew that the fact was materially wrong, but did so intending it to act, and that it worked reasonably believing the misrepresentation. Besides all these elements, it needs to show damage it suffered due to misrepresentation. The goal of pursuing both a criminal fraud case and a civil fraud case is to get justice and punish the wrongdoer, but the punishments that result from a guilty verdict are very different. With criminal fraud, the accused faces the possibility of incarceration or probation, and has to pay fines and possibly make restitution to any victims that it may have caused harm. In a civil fraud case, the punishment sought is compensation for the victim's damage.